Forget to fall safely. I didn't expect this to be. Save the girl's life. As soon as DNA is awakened by an unexpected squirrel, fighter planes flew past the window. Big hits and touches instantly tear in front of passenger aircraft. The DNA was thrown to the floor. She tried to hold on tightly to be sucked out. Just now, the plane was break into. DNA is not safely dropped, so they are thrown around. The husband hurriedly held her tightly with his hands. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the aircraft compartment broke the two of them. DNA fell with the fuselage into a zero-gravity state. She tried her best to hold on tightly, the most hardware of the aircraft. Facing death DNA is extremely frightening, but she still tried to find a little hope for the last life. Always high-speed air, extremely strong blows through. Lucky DNA pushes people onto a chair. She didn't think much right away. Safety drop belt. During a DNA panic attack, pray incessantly. Hopefully a miracle will happen. Then the plane crashed like a fallen leaves fall in the forest. Wait until you wake up from the coma. DNA can't believe it. Still alive. However, the concubine pierced her legs in severe pain, dragging her back to reality. Don't have time to think much. DNA tries to contain pain. Withdraw the concubine with all his strength, but can't. But if you don't draw it, you will, bleeding to death. So, at all costs, the final DNA pulled out the card. Then she hurriedly tore off her skirt, carefully wrap around the calves, both to relieve pain and to stop bleeding. DNA uses all its strength to get up, constantly growing towards the feared cubing. The rubble around. She hoped there would be someone alive and would help, but all that remains is soulless corpses. DNA breathed desperately, resting in place. Now the husband's compartment is still. I don't know where to fall. But suddenly, the sound of a helicopter flying by waking her up. The rescue team is looking for the location of the plane crashing, but the forest is too dense, so they didn't see it. Beneath the DNA, I know I'm about to be. Rescue hurriedly went out, quickly dragging the leg, pain and panic. Running to the stronghold, try to call by plane. Who would have thought that the sound of the helicopter was so loud and inaudible? The plane just flew by. Once again, DNA sinks deep and desperate. At the same time, under the forest, the rescue team is also searching, but because the plane splits into three, the bend above is very high, causing bodies to be scattered all over dwellings in the forest. The radius of the fall can be 30 kilometers. Very difficult to find. DNA on the way back to the wreckage. Constantly motivate yourself. I will be saved. Who would have thought that when he came back, he was caught? In front of them, make them afraid to pick. The cabin was the only hope of survival. A fierce tiger gnawing, sucking on her friend's body. DNA is mutilated backwards little by little. Avoid making noises. Yet, the tiger still found towards the girl. Looking at the DNA, hungry beast scares to chill the spine. She stood and buried her feet in place. Do not dare to move. I thought I was going to die. At this moment, the helicopter flew, caused the tiger to run away. Perhaps the tiger has never seen it. Such a strange creature ever. Escaping death in tension. DNA sat down to sleep. Luck once again came to her. Hand rabbit to the side of DNA. Catch the bear. Plastic heart to her husband who doesn't know. Where did you fall? It is very likely that her husband is still alive. Suddenly, DNA remembered the words. Before departure, this aircraft flew west. In other words, the husband's cabin must have fell to the east where I was. DNA recalled that her husband once showed her how to determine the direction with a needle. So DNA took the iron needle. Then, pay for a long time. His dress? Finally drop it on the foal. Leaves on the water. Sure enough, the needle pointed directions for her. After knowing the direction of her husband's fall, DNA goes to the river to make a few sips of water to replenish energy. She used a plastic bag to hold the water, then returned to the cabin to collect them all. Effective objects for the journey. DNA will find her husband in the hope that he will survive. Unexpectedly, the situation is not alone, as simple as she imagined. Alone. Through the sacred forest, poison is really difficult. Everywhere was gloomy looking at people. Look through the endless forest. DNA feels helpless. She had to walk, while missing her husband, to get more hope. Mano Nizi. Me. Who would have thought that her floating mood would make her not notice that you are entering the swamp? DNA gun wet, underfoot. Unbeknownst to him. Very quickly, the girl was indented, feet down a mud pit. She tried to pull out the injured leg. But unexpectedly, he tried to escape even more. The deeper it goes, in the tick of all people, DNA has been muddled. The girl was waving in despair. Lucky, how can DNA be a knee? A branch nearby? Thanks to the strong desire to survive at the end. And DNA have also escaped. But she had to be quick, before dark. Even if you have to overcome your child, extremely steep in front of him. Difficult DNA to use, heavy to climb. Suddenly the girl slipped, rolling down the hilly forest. I don't know how long to roll. She just stopped. My whole body hurts. There is no strength left. It takes a lot of hard DNA to teach. If she can't go, she will give up. Just like that, DNA finally have crossed the slope. Who would have thought that it would take a long time to walk? The tiger appeared in front of him again. Suddenly he turned to see her. Don't think much, DNA in a hurry. Fled with his life. Despite the pain from the injured leg. Gosh. But how can ordinary people can escape from tigers? Just in time for the tiger to catch up. DNA falling into the hole. She fainted in pain for a long time. The good news is that the gap is very deep. So, the tiger didn't even bother to jump down. He looked at her for a moment, and then gave up, and left. Thus DNA, once again, escapes the network. It's true that the heavens are not radical. Her way of life. DNA returns to the ground to find the suitcase. How fortunately there is a lighter in it. It was already dark. She lit a fire, and lay down next to her, side by side with gratitude. In the suitcase, fortunately there is still canned food. Yeah, mine. Me? I was finally able to enjoy a little. The warmth is hard at the end of the day. DNA's mind is still constantly remembering the happy time when running with her husband. After a night's rest, DNA fitness has been restored a lot. The next morning, she climbed to the top, the highest mountain nearby. Hopefully, this can attract attention of lifeguards. Unexpectedly, the rescue helicopter was gone. Fortunately, DNA sees the cabin, aircraft below, in which there must be we're left to call for help. Who would have thought that it would be separated from DNA equals a stream? DNA does not know how to swim in water, flowing extremely tightly. But with the encouragement of the husband, wound tolerance, DNA, determined to wipe himself into the stream. A battle with the line, aggressive squeezing water. All the time she died. Fortunately, at her last moment, clinging to the ledge, with a heavy breath again. DNA has saved lives. Aircraft cabin, without markings, signs of life. Communication devices here were also completely destroyed. But in the box in the cabin, she found the cannon and 2 bullets. The girl couldn't hide her, encourage a shot into the sky. It's a pity that the surrounding mountains are too high, and no one can see it. DNA doesn't dare to act rashly anymore. The only way now is to spin back to the high mountain. Only then can it attract attention of search and rescue personnel. Immediately, DNA dragged the wet body of the gun. Continue to climb the hill forest. Unexpected weather in the forest is unpredictable. It's just sunny in imitation, become very cold. DNA quickly picked up some twigs, prepared to light a dry fire of the fire. She was surprised to find the lighter stuck in river water that cannot be ignited. Too desperate. DNA only knows the team. Temporarily, the plastic bag on his head. I want to use my own breath. I left it to keep warm, but when lying on the ground with his face up to the sky, DNA becomes a pouch. Victim on the tree. So she quickly took down the bag. I hope there is something I need inside. Who would have expected to see the notebook have familiar drawings? She was startled to realize this is her husband's backpack. The woman excitedly looked at the picture. The drum is drawn for me. The past they went through together. Also, come alive. Beautiful moments, once again, appeared. Suddenly, it was raining, making the already cold sky even colder. The backpack indicates DNA stacking are nearby. Should ignore the rain. DNA, still trying to search. By waiting for the real wound, is too serious. DNA is still moving forward. Sure enough, a moment later, she found her husband. DNA immediately descends into the pit to hug the man tightly. So she finally found him. I know that you will overcome all. seeing her husband is really safe. DNA excitedly handed over the wedding ring to him, because it is a testament to the love of love. Their immortal love? Ah. She hid in her happy husband's lap. More than all moments, she was immersed in her voice, his occipital heart. It's like a pair of children being eaten, ironing full of happiness. She promised herself that she would never. Now they are scratching with their husbands. Because I was too tired. DNA falls asleep at any time, even though it rained extremely expensively. At the same time, the helicopter stopped searching. But DNA's brother seems to be, what a hunch he had. He begged the pilot to search for the last time. So the plane flew over the wing, forest one last time. Engine roar. Awakened DNA. Now she knows. Violent reality. It turned out that her husband had lost his life in the plane crash. Happy scene just now. Just imaginary. Even though it hurts to the end. But her husband's encouragement in her heart tree has given her strength. DNA knew her husband wouldn't want to see her give up hope of survival. So she dragged her tired body. Tried to climb the full slope. Mud with all its strength. DNA has finally climbed up. She fired a bright bullet like a strong talisman. Heaven is indeed a blessing in people's hearts this time. The rescue team found her. With the help of lifeguards, DNA at a glance is brought back to the plane. The girl tried to look out the window. It seems that the husband below are still waving. Maybe that's the last wish. Have you before leaving? Is for the wife who loves to live. DNA tears her husband said. Final goodbyes. The film is based on the event. Real happened in 1981. DNA is still alive today. The old lady said she survived like her husband's encouragement. She will always live happily with her heart. His last wish. Anyway, always cherish your relatives. Are still by my side. The movie is over. If you find it interesting, then register. Channel to support me. Bye-bye.
If you love movies as much as we do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, share it with fellow film fans, and drop your hot takes in the comments.